Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? My name is Kent, and I'm in Carlsbad, California, actually State Street to be exact. And I want to talk about tonight why you shouldn't have a job. In fact, I'll make the argument that you can't afford to have a job in today's world. And when you really think about what a job is trading your time for money. And even if you are making a lot of money for your time, you still can't make enough money to pay for your time. And I'll give you an example of that. There's a guy I watch fairly regularly on YouTube Shorts. He's a heart doctor, heart surgeon. Of course, I've had a couple heart procedures, so I like to watch this guy. So anyway, one day on one of these YouTube videos he did one of his days, his day as a heart surgeon, and he kind of documented his day as a heart surgeon. And he shows where he gets up at 4:30 in the morning. He gets to the hospital about 5:30, 6. He starts his day. He's doing operations about 8, 9 o'clock. And by the end of the day, he spends all day in the hospital, and then he goes and meets patients in his office. And by the end of the day, at 8:30, 9 o'clock, this guy goes home. So he spent from 4:35 in the morning till 8, 9 o'clock at night working as a heart doctor. So he's trading his time for money. But he's putting in so much time that he has no quality of life. And I don't care if he's got the nice car and the nice houses. And why I say that, there's a Rolls Royce sitting here. So I bet this person isn't working at an hourly wage. So it's got a unique license plate on it too. It must look like it's a foreign car. So anyway, when you trade your time for money, you can never make enough money to pay for your time. And in today's world, with things being so expensive, it's almost impossible to do that, to make enough money for your time. And the main thing that happens when you're trading your time for money is you're using all your time to make a living for somebody else, to help make somebody else a living. And you really aren't spending any time on you're making money for yourself, so you're making money for somebody else. So you can't really think about other ways of making money where you can not have to be there in order to make the money. You're not trading your time for money. So in other words, that's why social media has gotten to be such a big deal. Because people are now, you make a viral video and you don't have to be there for that video to make money. You put the video up, on YouTube's a pretty tough place to make money, but you put a video up on YouTube and it gets watched by tens of thousands of people. And you don't have to actually be there for that video to make money. So that video is making money without you actually being there, not trading your time for money. So trading your time for money right now is just not a very profitable thing to do. And you can't do it because the gap is getting further and further apart as far as what you make and what people are willing to pay you or can pay you. So you can't afford to trade your time for money. So having a job is not going to work. You can't have a job in today's world. So if people are out there looking for jobs, and that's really a shame because you have this job cult where everybody thinks you go to college, you get a job, and that's the way you're going to survive. And almost no one that works for today. But everybody still thinks that's the way it is. You just go get a job, and that's the way it's talked about in the media. They talk about jobs reports, they talk about what's going on in the economy and how many people, but that's ridiculous because right now it doesn't work. It just doesn't work, and you're getting further and further apart from what you can do. You can't buy a home, you can't buy a car, you can't do anything. Why most jobs that you're working at. So working at a job isn't working anymore. It just doesn't work. You have to figure out some other way. And if you're monopolizing all your time working for somebody else, you can't think of other ways to make money. Like I say, social media, and there's other ways of doing that too, but you can't be doing something where you have to be present in order for that money to be made. Like the heart doctor, he actually has to be doing the operations. He can't let somebody else do it. So in other words, he can't say, I'm gonna hire somebody else to do the operations and I'm gonna sell it back and collect the money. He has gotten himself in a place where he has developed a skill that only he can deliver. He can't hire somebody else. If the guy was smart, he'd actually maybe start a medical clinic, hire other doctors, let them do the surgeries, and then he would get a little piece of what they make, and that would be, employing somebody. But then the people that he's employing, they're the ones that are taking, getting taken advantage of because he's making a little bit of what they're making. So he's making a cut of what they're making. That's what business is about, is using somebody else's time to make money, and not your own, because you can't afford to trade your time for money because you can't make enough money to do that. So that's it. You don't have a job. Don't get a job. Whatever people say, that's not going to work. Just think of other ways to make a living. You can't do it by having a job. That's it. It just doesn't work, and it's getting harder and harder to do so. The other thing I want to talk about tonight is I talked a little bit the other night about the younger generation, how they're in a very difficult time right now where they're having a hard time doing what their parents did. In other words, having a home, buying a car, having all the things, standard of living that their parents had. And there's a lot of people on YouTube right now that do a lot of clickbait kind of videos. And not only YouTube, it's all over social media. But they're telling you that there's going to be a pending crash, and everybody's saying doom and gloom, and don't buy something now because in 6 months or a year, the economy's going to crash, and then everything's going to be very inexpensive, and you can buy something very cheap then. Don't fall for that trick. That's BS. That's somebody telling you just wait around and wait till things get more expensive, and you'll never be able to buy in. My advice to anybody is if you can swing anything at this time, buy in as soon as you can. If you want to buy a home, try to buy a home as quickly as you possibly can, because it's not going to get any cheaper. We're looking at rampant inflation here very soon, and I heard Ray Dalio, one of the richest guys, billionaire, and he, what he says inflation is? Inflation is people buying too much stuff, people going out and buying stuff. That's not inflation. What inflation is the price of things going up because the value of the money goes down. So what's causing inflation is money printing, not people buying too much stuff. Here's a guy worth billions of dollars, and he's saying inflation is because people are buying too much stuff. No, it's not because people are buying too much stuff. It's because the economy, the federal government has this ability to borrow money from the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve has the ability to create the money out of nothing. That's why we have inflation. And if you think that's going to get reversed anytime soon, I'll tell you what, I got a bridge to sell you someplace, because it ain't going to reverse anytime soon. Because first of all, we all sit here, the people like you and me who struggle in this world, we sit here and we don't like it. We think it's, it needs to be changed. But there are people in this world that are absolutely happy with the way the world's going. Let me tell you, the person who owns that Rolls Royce right there, you think he or she or whoever it is, you think they're complaining about the way the world's being run right now? No, they're winning. No, they're driving a Rolls Royce here in Carlsbad, California. I don't know what that car costs, probably a few $100,000. But they're winning right now. They're not sitting here going, oh, we need to fix the economy, we need to quit printing money, housing prices need to come down, real estate prices need to come down. No, they're happy with the way the world's going. They're driving a Rolls Royce and they're living here in Southern California, so things are going pretty well for them. So not everybody's unhappy with the way the world's going. There's a lot of people very happy with the way the world's going, and they're not going to shift. You think the politicians are unhappy with the way the world's going? No. They're all very wealthy and they're all doing very, very well. It's very, I think I heard, and it's kind of funny, I think the judge that was is presiding over that Donald Trump case where he got convicted of like 34 felonies. The guy's worth like a lot of money, like tens of millions of dollars. Here's a judge worth all that money. So, these politicians, you can bet Donald Trump's worth a lot of money. Joe Biden's worth a lot of money. People in the Senate and Congress, Nancy Pelosi, they're all worth lots and lots and lots and lots of money. They're not wanting the system to change. They like the system the way it is. They're making a lot of money. They're very wealthy, and they're not sitting here going, well, we gotta change this. We gotta crash it and start all over again. That's never going to happen. So don't buy in this idea that things are going to crash and you're going to get a better deal. Just buy in as soon as you can and make it happen. Do it. Leverage every possible thing you can leverage in order to make it happen, because it ain't getting cheaper. It's going to be more expensive, when you do buy in. And the other thing I would say, for people that are thinking about maybe buying into the housing market right now because, they think it's too expensive, they're waiting for something to crash. The reason I don't ever think the housing market's going to crash is because what is the very first thing everybody needs? They need a place to live. So that's always going to be in demand. That's going to be in high demand. You got to have a place to live. So you're not going to see housing prices go down anytime soon, with inflation and money printing and the fact that everybody needs a place to live. What you're going to see is you're going to see people doing things that are tiny homes, things like that are going to make it so it's less expensive to own a home. But you're not going to see real estate prices go down, because that's the primary thing people need, is they need a place to live. So don't think that that's going to happen. So don't buy into these people that are thinking things are going to crash anytime soon, and that you're going to get a great deal if you just hang on a little bit longer and wait for everything to fall apart, because it's not going to happen. What's going to happen is we're going to run into a time of inflation where nobody can afford anything. And what's going to happen is there's going to be a huge separation between the haves and the have-nots. You're going to, if you've got like the person that owns that Rolls Royce right there, they're one of the haves. They have a Rolls Royce sitting here in Southern California. The have-nots are people that are walking along the street. Maybe sometimes you see somebody sleeping out here on a bench. Those are the have-nots. So that separation is going to get further and further. That's what you're going to see. You're not going to see a crash. You're not going to see the system go back to where all of a sudden everybody's got, has an opportunity to buy in because everything falls apart because the rich people lose all their money. No, the rich people will keep their money. Everything's going to get more expensive, and there's going to be fewer and fewer people who are going to be able to afford it. That's the direction we're going. We're not going into a time where everything's going to just fall apart, and you're going to have it's going to be everything's on sale, because nothing's going to be on sale. That's just the way the system grows. And it's been going that way for a long, long time, and I don't expect it to change anytime soon. So anyway, let me flip this camera around, say goodnight to you, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. So anyway, there we are. Okay, here we go. I don't know if that's going to show very nice. I got that camera on, or that light on. So good night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.